Happiness is like the most complicated topic you can imagine. But one of the big puzzle pieces is independence. I do think there are I think the best example are CEOs who might make $30 million a year, $50 million a year, but they have no control over their time. Every single second of their day is planned and demanded by somebody else. The hardest financial skill is getting the goalpost to stop moving. You can imagine a world in which my kids, my grandkids are earning twice as much as me, adjusted for inflation, and they're no happier for it. Because the new technologies, whatever it will be, that would seem like magic to you and I. If I were a young person looking for my first house today, I would look solely through the lens of what is going to be good for my family. I think what's definitely happened in the last couple of years is obviously there was just about 2 or 3 years of very easy money. And easy money, fast money is fragile money. Because when people make a ton of money in crypto, they make a ton of money in tech stocks, the emotional burden of letting go of that money, spending it, or blowing it on some other dumb investment is very low. Versus like old money, if you've worked really hard for years or decades to accumulate your money, you're going to be very careful with how you spend it, very careful with how you invest it. And so I think it's just we're now, and for the last couple of years, have been in this phase of money came very quickly, very easily, with almost no effort that had to be put into it, no sacrifice put into it. And then so a lot of the financial decisions that come of that are very poor, not just at the individual level, but the institutional investing level. Money in venture capital and private equity was so easy for years that a lot of the investments were made were garbage. And so I think that's what we're seeing right now. You can almost see too, there's an interesting thing going on in the housing market where interest rates have gone from 3% to 8% mortgage rates. And by and large, prices have not gone down at all. By and large, that's true. That is very likely just like a mark-to-market failure where people are assuming that their house is still worth what it was worth in 2021, but there's just no market. There's no actual transactions to market to. So you have this like almost Wile E. Coyote moment where very easy money, a lot of bad decisions, but a lot of consequences really haven't been paid so far in terms of the downside of paying that back. That's kind of where it feels like we are right now. And if you are buying a home because it's right for you and your family and it's a safe neighborhood and it's it checks all those boxes, awesome, great, good for you. If you're doing it because you have some sense of FOMO, that rent is quote unquote throwing your money away and you just want to get on the housing bandwagon, that's the red flag that you want to avoid. The second thing I would put, particularly for young parents, young couples, young families, by and large, you probably have an urge to buy a home because you have this caveman sense of like, I need to provide shelter for my family. Very natural, very ingrained in human behavior. You want to take care of your family. That's the core of this. Well, what's one of the worst things that you could actually do for your family and your young kids? It's being financially extended and over-leveraged is one of the worst things that you could do. So if your urge is to take care of your family, the worst decision you're ever going to make is to buy a house that you can't afford. Even though you're buying that house because you want to provide some sense of care for your family. So if I were a young person looking for my first house today, I would look solely through the lens of what is going to be good for my family. Not what is the best financial investment, not what is the FOMO, not what is the comparison to rent. If it was in the neighborhood that was better for my family, in the house situation that was better for my family, I would do it, which is what I did when I bought my first house. I would just be very cautious at any sort of FOMO that might be floating around right now. And it's always there. Is the idea that risk is what you don't see. Risk is what you're not thinking about. Carl Richards, a financial advisor, has this amazing quote. He says, risk is what is left over when you think you've thought of everything. That's what risk is. So you can, as an individual, as an analyst, as an investor, spend all of your time looking at the risks in front of you, analyzing the risks in front of you. Great, you should do that. But then when you're done with that exercise, the thing that is not on your list is the actual risk that's going to throw you for a loop. So in the last 20 years or so, it's been 9/11, Lehman Brothers, COVID, of course. The common denominator of those is not just that they were big, it's that nobody saw them coming until the moment that they happened. And so I do think we are, particularly millennials, my generation, is in this weird spot right now where I graduated college in 2008, teeth of the financial crisis. It was very easy during that moment to say, 2008, the financial crisis is bad. This sucks. This is miserable, but this is a one-off event. This doesn't happen all the time. It was easy to tell yourself that. And then after 2020, after COVID made things, at least temporarily, even worse than they were in 2008, the economy shut down, 25 million Americans lose their jobs, stock market falls 40%. That, I think, left people with this idea that, like, no, maybe this is just how the world works. every couple years the world breaks. And I think because of that, you always have, like, there's always been this pessimism porn that exists online of it's so popular to forecast doom and gloom. And if you are an optimist, you look like you're a detached, aloof moron. And I think it's easier to do that today than it's ever been, just because we've had all these surprises. I think any way that you can mechanize your investing strategy is the right way to do it. Just to make it mechanical and to just say, this is the strategy and I'm going to do it come hell or high water. My friend Nick Maggiulli has a great book. The book is titled Just Keep Buying. It's kind of promoting dollar cost averaging. Because when you dollar cost average, when you just say, I'm going to invest $1,000 on the first of every month forever, no matter what the economy is doing, I'm going to do it. You're taking the emotion out of the equation. You're not saying I'm going to do it when I think GDP growth is going to be above X percent, whatever it is. It's just taking it out to the extent that you can actually pull that off, which is another thing. It's harder to dollar cost average than it is to say you're going to do it. To actually do it in time, there's almost no investing strategy, even with hindsight bias, that you can create that's going to do better than that. I've seen these studies where people put together these back tests that you would think would be so logical to say, look, let's back test with hindsight bias and say we're only going to invest when the PE ratio is below this amount, when the economy is at the bottom of a recession, with hindsight bias. And even still in those studies, it doesn't beat dollar cost averaging. There's a study that I think is titled, Even God Cannot Outperform Dollar Cost Averaging. And so and the crazy thing about it is that it's the easiest thing to do. It takes no effort. It takes no analysis. You don't need to watch CNBC. You don't need to do anything. You just set it and forget it. So not only is it the easiest, it's the best over time. So it's not to say it's perfect. It's not to say it's infallible, but especially when you adjust it for effort, there's almost nothing else that will beat it. Saying, I'm going to predict the next recession and it's going to occur in Q4 2024, making that up. A much better way to think about risk is just to say that my asset allocation, the cash and bonds that I have, the flexibility and room for error that I have in my finances would be able to endure a recession whenever it happens. One of the ways to think about it is, how does California think about earthquakes? Well, you can't predict earthquakes. You can't say it's going to occur next quarter. It's going to occur at this point next year. There's no earthquake CNBC with people like pundits predicting when it's going to happen. But you know it's going to happen. So when you are building your homes, when you're the firefighter, EMS crews are training, they're always prepared for it to occur at any given moment because you intuitively know that you can't predict when it's going to happen. I think thinking about recessions and bear markets in the same way is the best that we can do. So there's a difference between a forecast and an expectation. A forecast is saying there's going to be a bear market in February. That's a forecast. An expectation is, historically, the market has declined 20% 3 times per decade. And I expect it to be the case going forward. And psychologically and financially, I'm prepared for that to occur at any given moment. Because as we've seen with all of the other 20% declines, they occur when you don't expect them to happen. And as you pointed out, the 20 to 50 to 100% surges occur when you don't expect them to happen. So quit the BS of assuming that you know when this is going to happen. And let's just set yourself up. Put yourself in the game so that whatever happens, you're going to benefit from it as long as you can endure and stick around for long enough. Nothing breaks love more than being needy. And really what needy is just your expectations are so high that you wake up and you say, I expect you to do this for me. I expect you to help me. I expect you to serve me. That's just massively high expectations that you have in that relationship. The more money I have, the less my material desires are. For sure. When I say that out loud, I'm like, oh, absolutely. What everyone wants in the world is respect and admiration from other people. And there's kind of 2 ways to get that. You can get your respect and admiration through your wisdom, through your love, through your humor. Or if you don't have that to offer to the world, you're going to get it through your material possessions. So if you can gain respect and admiration through your business success, your wisdom, your love, your friendship, great, then you're going to get it and you're going to fulfill that bucket. If you can't get it from those things, then you're like, well, might as well show off my car. It's all I got to do. That's all I have. I think that's one side of it. So as you become more successful, your desire to show off diminishes because you're gaining respect and admiration through other things that are not material. The other side of this that's so important is that, I saw this statistic years ago that the poorest 10% of Americans buy like 80% of the lottery tickets in America. And these are people who can like barely feed themselves. The lowest 10%, they're literally struggling to put a roof over their head and feed themselves, are going out hand over fist buying scratcher tickets. And the knee-jerk reaction when you hear that is, morons? What are you doing, you idiot? And maybe that is the right reaction, but I started thinking about it and it was like, okay, maybe if you try to put yourself in those people's shoes, maybe they would say something like this. If you are stuck in a low-income job and you feel like there's no way out, you feel like you don't have the opportunity to work your way up the ladder, become an entrepreneur, you feel like you're stuck in this position, buying a lottery ticket might be the only thing in life that gives you a little bit of hope. It might be what feels like literally your only ticket to get out. And that might be not something that you and I feel like because we at least feel like we might have other opportunities. If you are stuck in a lower spot in life, if you have a feeling that the world is unfair, and very often it is, so maybe that might be the right mindset. But if you feel the world is unfair, then it's very natural to think, I might as well cheat too. If the world's unfair, why not? Might as well cheat. And I think that, at least at some level, has some explanation for the relationship between poverty and crime. If you are in a low-income job and you're working graveyard shifts and you're exhausted and you're taking 3 buses to get your kids to school, if the only thing that day that gives you a little bit of pleasure is a cigarette and some alcohol, I get it. I totally get it. And that's also the relationship between health and poverty, is a lot of that too. So it's very easy for people who are of higher means to look down at those people and point out all the bad decisions that they're doing in life. But I think you underestimate how much that desire to just have a little bit of hope, a little bit of pleasure. And if those feel like your only avenues for hope and pleasure, maybe that's the explanation for at least part of it. A lot of what's probably giving you stress in life is that you don't have control over what you're doing. And if you view every dollar of savings that you have as a bit of your future that you own and control, then I think that mindset can shift pretty dramatically. And it's like, that's the ticket out. The ticket out is not a nicer car. It's not a bigger house. It's not better clothes. The ticket out is independence. That's what's going to give you the better career. It's what's going to make you happier. It's what's going to make you healthier. And the only thing that's going to give you independence is having enough money saved up so that you can choose where you want to live, maybe even what job you want. You can choose at some point down the road when you retire. If you get sick, it's not just going to break you immediately. Having that independence is going to take more weight off your shoulders than anything else you can do in life. That's the title of that chapter in the book is Save Money, because you can't put it any clearer or starker. Like that's it. On the nature-nurture spectrum, I actually think, and this is kind of disappointing to talk about, it's not fun to talk about, but on the nature-nurture spectrum, I think a lot of money is nature. Warren Buffett talks about the people who have the money mind, which means like either they get it or they don't. And if they get it instantly. And if they don't, they'll get it never at all. I actually don't believe in it. It's that black and white. Charlie Munger explains it like that. He says, when explaining financial matters to young people, they either get it instantly or never at all. And he's putting that too starkly, I think. I don't think it's that black and white. But on the nature-nurture spectrum, is it 80-20? Is it 70-30? I think it's probably something in that range.